Do you feel like your full arch marketing budget just isn't going as far as it used to? Your ad spend keeps going up, as if you're making a donation to Facebook or Google with no improvement in the results. You're told by colleagues or by experts that's just the cost of doing business. But is it really? And what does your expensive full arch marketing company tell you? They tell you it's just so competitive out there. There's so many more people competing for the same market. We need to increase our ad spend, or you should start lowering your full arch prices. It's the easy answer for them, but it rarely fixes the real problem and just leads to you making less money and dealing with lower quality patients. The real problem, though, and the number one reason for inefficient ad spend in full arch marketing is the ad. It's not Facebook's fault. It's not Google's fault. It's not your competition's fault. It's poor congruence. And today I'm going to give you the blueprint to fix your congruence problem and slash your full arch marketing budget. My name is Dr. Michael Ling, and on this channel, we talk about one thing and one thing only, and that's how to do more full arch implants in all on 4 cases. We focus on things like implant marketing and case acceptance. And today in particular, we're going to talk about congruence. A lot of full arch doctors I talk to are paying $50, $80, $100 per lead. And remember, these are leads. These are not patients. These are not appointments. They're just leads. And a lead is only somebody who's given you their personal information, like their phone number or their email address. You've got a long way to go to convert that lead to an actual full arch case. So it's just not sustainable to continue paying $100 plus for these leads. One red flag that you might have a congruence problem is a high cost per lead. And by definition, the cost per lead is simply the amount of money you spend on ads divided by the number of leads that you get. And again, a lead is somebody that gave you their contact info. And that might mean in exchange for a quiz or a download or some sort of contact form. They haven't made an appointment. They've only given you their information. And we know in our full arch funnel, based on our benchmarks, our cost per lead should be between $20 and $50. So if your cost per lead is more than $50, if you're one of those docs paying $80, $100, $200 per lead, then fixing your congruence might be one way to reduce that cost per lead. So what is congruency? Congruency simply means alignment. Each step in your funnel or your process from taking a patient who's never heard about you to being in your chair, paid, ready for full arch treatment, has to feel like a natural progression. It has to feel smooth and flowing and downstream. We don't want it to feel disjointed. We don't want it to feel disjointed or that we're giving the patient mixed messages. And in particular, in this video, we're going to talk about congruence between the ad and the landing page. Do these two steps make sense together? And it sounds simple and obvious, but trust me when I tell you that it's not. And I'm going to show you some very clear examples of poor congruence. And congruence is important for this one simple reason. When you place an ad online, whether it's on Facebook or Google or wherever you have your ads, make a promise. And the user clicks on that ad because they like what the ad has to say. So your landing page must give people what you promise in your ad. If not, you have poor congruence and will kill your conversions. Here's an example of a real full arch implant ad that shows up on my feed all the time. This dentist is going after the cheap arch market. They're advertising all on 4 dental implants, $19,700. Next 10 patients qualify. And then at the bottom, it says, learn more. This is the call to action button. So if I'm a reader and this catches my eye, wow, all on 4 implants, only $19,000. Yes, I would love to learn more. And I click this button. Here's what happens. You're taken to this landing page. And this landing page has poor congruence. Because look at the headline, the first thing the patient sees when they end up on this landing page. It has the office logo, which means nothing to this patient. They have no idea who this dentist is, and this logo is meaningless to them. 5 stars, top rated in Toronto. This is their address here I blanked out. And the headline says, why dental implants? And it has some bullet points here. What it doesn't have is anything about all on 4 dental implants. What it doesn't have is anything about this $19,700 price or the next 10 patients to qualify. There's no congruence. This landing page doesn't make any sense for a user that clicked on this ad. And if I was the user and was attracted to this ad here and clicked on it, it ended up over here, I might even wonder, am I on the wrong page? Did I click something wrong? What I would bet most people do is just hit the X button and just continue browsing on Instagram. This campaign is dead before it even started because of poor congruence. This landing page does not deliver what the ad promised. And fixing this problem would be easy. All I would do is just get rid of this stuff that doesn't mean anything, change the headline to something similar to this here. Maybe even just copy this headline over here, and that would reassure the patient that this page that you're asking them to read has the same information that they're looking for because they clicked on this ad. These ads don't even look the same. The colors are different, the font is different, the tone is different, and the message is different. It literally feels like I clicked on the wrong page. So how does this happen? It's not the dentist's fault. This dentist is employing a marketing agency and probably a very expensive full arch marketing agency. And when you look at the campaigns run by these marketing agencies, incongruency is rampant. If you're working with one of these agencies, go ahead and audit your own ads and landing pages, and you'll be shocked by the examples of poor congruency. And then you'll get depressed when you start to think about how much money is being wasted promising something to your users in an ad and then not even trying to deliver what you promise. And then you'll get even more depressed when you start thinking about how much money you're paying these marketing companies for their expertise. This happens when you work with a marketing company that doesn't really understand your market. They don't understand your ideal patient. They don't understand your unique selling proposition and how you're trying to differentiate your practice. It's sloppy and lazy, and you shouldn't let these marketing companies get away with it. And when you ask these marketing companies, what should I do about my ads? They're just not performing as well as they used to. The only thing they're going to say is, you got to increase your ad spend. And of course, that's great for them, because when you spend more money with Google and Facebook, your marketing company is also taking a percent of that money. But once you understand this full arch funnel, you're going to start to find ways to do more arches without spending more money on ads. And in our full arch funnel, there are 28 different areas that you can work on. And on this channel, we have or will have videos on every single one of these areas, with today's video focusing on congruency. Let's look at another ad that keeps popping up on my feed. This ad has a couple of photos of some women that have implants. The headline says, dental implants change more than just a smile. New teeth, new life one day. Some text here, and then it says, risk-free implant consult, learn more. Not a horrible ad, and they probably get a fair number of clicks on this button here, because it's fairly compelling. And if I were in the market for some new teeth, I would probably want to learn how I could get new teeth, new life in one day, and a risk-free consult. So here's what happens when you click this learn more button. You're taken to this screen right here. And this makes zero sense. The headline on this screen says, answer the following questions to learn more about pricing and financing options. And then there's a quiz down here. This doesn't make any sense because there's nothing on this page about pricing or financing. Why would we take somebody who's interested in a risk-free implant consult and then start talking to them about financing and pricing? There's no congruency. This is not the natural next step. And then ask them to complete some sort of quiz. They don't want to complete a quiz. They want to learn more. This landing page doesn't make any sense with the ad. This is like having an ad for pizza and then sending that user to a landing page that talks about burgers. The user doesn't want burgers. We promised them pizza. Our landing page has to deliver pizza. This dentist is just flushing money down the toilet. There's no way that this landing page converts because it's just completely incongruent. And this would be so easy to fix. The first thing I would do is get rid of this photo here and find another one of these photos here and put it in its place. A photo with the black frame, with the white mat, with a smiling lady in it. It just makes this page feel connected to the previous page. And then I would change the headline to something like life-changing dental implants in one day. And then I would add a sub-headline that introduces this form to something like, fill out the form below to get your free consult. But this message here is so much more congruent with this message. And by making those changes, this landing page might have a chance of converting. The way it's written right now, you might as well just take that money and donate it to Mark Zuckerberg. One last example of an ad with poor congruence, just to drive the point home. This is actually a horrible ad, which is beside the point, because there's no headline. There's no information about who you help, and there's nothing about what problem you fix. So I'm not sure exactly who would ever click on an ad like this with just this picture of a random smiling couple and then a book now button. But if somebody were to happen to read the text here, it says consultations are free. Consultations for what? I'm not sure. I'm assuming these are dental implants, and include a complimentary x-ray. Visit our website to learn more about our process. And then the button says book now. Now, this is already an example of poor congruence, because what am I, the reader, booking? I'm not ready to book anything. You said visit our website to learn more, and then now you're telling me to book. This is an example of incongruence. These two steps don't make sense next to each other. But that's the least of this ad's problems, because when you do click on this book now button, this is the page that you're taken to. And at the very top of the page, it says Canadian Dental Care Plan information for patients. And if you don't know, this is a new welfare program rolled out by the Canadian government. It has nothing to do with dental implants. So there's no reason for it to be there. And then probably half or 2/3 of this page is taken up by the dentist logo, their name, this is their address, their phone number, their toll-free phone number, and then their office hours. This is completely useless information. Why would somebody who clicks on this ad care about any of this information? But it gets worse, because the headline below this information says $1,200 Nobel Biocare dental implants. That doesn't make any sense. What is going on here? Why are we talking about burgers when the ad is talking about pizza? And we're not even talking about burgers. We're talking about shoes. This is completely random and disjointed. There's no flow, there's no alignment, and there's no congruence. It frustrates me because this is such sloppy, lazy marketing. It's not this dentist's fault. I guarantee you this dentist is not designing these campaigns and running them by themselves. They're paying some expensive marketing company for their expertise, and this is what they're getting. And this would be so easy to fix. The first thing I would do is eliminate all of this stuff on top that doesn't mean anything and move this part higher up on the page. And then I would eliminate Nobel Biocare. Nobody cares about the brand of your implant. And then I would change the headline on here to $1,200 implants. Now, of course, if you've been watching these videos, you know that I think this is a horrible idea to advertise cheap implants like this. But let's just go with it for the purposes of this example. I would change the headline on this ad to $1,200 implants, free consultations, and x-rays. Click below to get your free consults. Okay. And then they would click this button to book now. And then this page here would talk about $1,200 implants, free consults, free x-rays, and how to book their free consultation. It'd be so easy to fix this. Their conversion would go through the roof compared to this landing page here, which I would bet converts almost zero. How does improving your congruency reduce your ad spend? If you remember that your cost per lead is simply your ad spend divided by your number of leads. So do you think that if any of the three examples that we talked about implemented these changes, their conversion rate would increase by just 10%, a tiny amount? I would hope so, because some of those pages were just horrible. And if you can improve the conversion of that landing page by 10%, that means you can either save 10% on your ad spend with the same results, or you can spend the same amount of money and get an extra 10% of arches basically for free. Because remember, in our full arch funnel, we're looking for small, consistent improvements over time, because those will result in huge results. Congruency is just one of the 28 different levers that we have on this funnel. And if we increase every single one of these items by 10%, they stack on top of each other, and that would result in 14 times more arches without spending any more money. Now, that's probably not realistic, but we don't need 10% improvement anywhere. All we need is just small improvements, 1 or 2% here and there, and that can result in a massive increase in the amount of treatment that you're getting out the bottom of your funnel. And this is all done without spending an extra dime on your ad spend or to your expensive marketing company. So to sum up, here's how you can audit your own ads and landing pages for congruency. The first question to ask yourself is, does the landing page deliver what the ad promises? And we show lots of examples in this presentation about landing pages that didn't deliver and how to fix them. Secondly, does the landing page tone, the fonts, the colors, the photos, does it all feel aligned and cohesive? And lastly, does the landing page nudge the user in the direction they're already going? Because this journey that the user is on, from having no idea you exist, to seeing an ad, to going to your landing page, to clicking something on your landing page, to eventually becoming an actual patient, is almost like cutting down a big tree. And that tree is just slowly tipping over. And as that tree is tipping over, all we need to do is just give that tree a little nudge, a little bit at a time, to keep tipping over in the direction it's already going. What you don't want to do is take a tree that's leaning one way and then try to push it another way. That doesn't make any sense. It's just wasted effort. And in marketing terms, that means wasted money and time. So go ahead and audit your own ads in your own landing page. And I hope that you can find ways to improve your congruence, to lower your ad spend and do more arches.